Hey there folks, I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. I have here a can of deuterium. Oh, no, sorry. Heavy water. Same thing. Look it up. This is an American stout at 5.8% ABV from Foam Brewers in Burlington, Vermont. Not a whole lot of info on the can. That's okay. Checked this one out at a place called Main Street Provisions in Waterville, Maine. Thanks, folks, including Kyle M. You jumped to the top of my mind, but a couple of other people told me to check the place out as well. Not a huge selection of craft beers, but as compared to some other local craft beer stores, this Waterville, Maine is a small ass town, but they have some stuff that you can't get elsewhere. So, again, this one caught my eye just because of the name primarily, but secondarily because we don't get a lot of beers from Vermont around here, surprisingly, because they're so close. But we tend to get beers from Maine, Massachusetts, and then further away. Not the closer ones, which is interesting. Holy shit, there's like no light coming through there. That is a dark, dark, dark stout. It's not quite midnight black though, even though there's very little light coming through. There's just enough I can tell it's got a bit of a brownish tinge to it. It's got a roasty, dark, roasty aroma that you would expect from a darker beer like that. But there's also a slight hint it's almost a meaty aroma, which is odd, but it happens sometimes. Slightly meaty aroma, I don't know, but mostly roasty. It's got a nice medium heavy mouthfeel. It's not as heavy as you would expect based on the look of it. Slight, very, very slight oiliness to it. But that medium heaviness being somewhat lighter than I was expecting, combined with that slightly oily character, it just means it's going down smooth. Now 5.8% ABV is pretty respectable, so you got to be careful with something that drinks that smoothly. But here's what I'm getting. Up front, just a nice general graininess with a hint of sweetness. As it rolls off the tongue, there's a nice roasty character, hint of nuttiness there, and maybe some smokiness in the finish. Roasty and toasty, just on the edge of being burnt, but not quite over. It's good. It's solid. It's got a great name. Overall, I gotta hit this one with a 3.5 out of 5. Now, bear in mind, on a scale of 1 to 5, a 2.5 is average, so a 3.5 is a distinctly above average rating. It's got a lot of really great character for a stout. Pardon. But there's a lot of really good stouts out there. So it's not quite distinguishing itself from the field. Again, it's a perfect stout. It's got some roasty notes, slightly nutty, hint of smokiness in the finish, maybe some chocolate coming through now that I've had a few more sips of it. But again, nothing that's jumping out and making me go, wow, that's different, wow, that's unique. Just everything says it's a really good stout. Which back in the day, man, I keep harping on this tonight. I don't know if you guys will see these videos in order or not, but when you see this shirt, they were all done on the same night. But I keep coming back to the same point that, and I've mentioned it in other videos too, you know, even a few years ago, some of these beers would have been getting rated higher. Trust me, some people get offended when you rate them lower. But because of the fact that once upon a time, these beers stood out more than they do now, they just kind of, there's 5 or 6 beers that give this same or a similar experience. I just can't in good conscience rate it higher than the 3.5, which again, the 3.5 pretty much decently above average beer, and I got no negatives here, no drawbacks. It is a perfectly well put together stout, and that's great. But I could walk into you know, even Main Street Provisions and probably find 2 or 3 perfectly well put together stouts, or a larger store, or a store with a larger selection of craft beers. It's easier when you specialize, and pick out 6 or 7 perfectly decent stouts. They're perfectly great stouts, you know. So they all kind of get brought down by the fact that they're all good average beers. Anyway, you guys know what I'm trying to say, and if you don't, tell me I'm an idiot. That's fine. But all that to say that I hate to rate a beer that is this good that low, even though 3.5 is above average. But it just, the field is so wide now. Anyway, hopefully I've made my point without kicking the dead horse, and you guys understand what I'm saying, whether you agree or disagree. Either way, hit me up down below in the comments with the email link. Love to hear what you have to say about heavy water. While you're down there, don't forget to like and share the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Till next time, folks, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.